Good morning. Welcome, agents and brokers. I'm Valeria Hernandez from BenaVest. Today, we will help you to master your skills with this Enroll Prime Alternative Insurance. After our presentation, we will open the floor for your questions. Let me introduce our guest speakers for today. They are Robert and Ed.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Robert. I'm with Enroll Prime. We're going to be sharing with you some group products that are available in small and large group space, primarily focusing on the small group, and then we'll ease our way into the larger group, as larger group is more customizable. Starting with our plans here, I'm going to go ahead and populate this here. You should be able to see we have MEC plans. MEC is standing for Minimum Essential Coverage through Enroll Prime. We have 3 levels of a MEC plan. These groups can do as little as 2 employees to form a group. We have these plans available in the individual market through an association. If you do come across a one-man group that still needs a plan, it's just more expensive to always get something in the individual market. But the group market, priced competitively, we have the 3 levels of MEC Basic, MEC Plus, and MEC Enhance. The MEC Basic is a simple MEC. If anybody's familiar with the MEC, it just basically gives them a wellness visit. The colonoscopy, mammogram, they're free physical a year. In those states that require minimum essential coverage, this plan would be meet the requirement for minimum essential coverage, hence the name MEC. All of them are going to come with a $0 telemedicine option, so they could contact the doctor via telemedicine. Just to go across the board, this is a comparison, which is going to keep it very simple on these 3 products in the group market. Like I said, it's a $0 copay, no matter which plan it is, if it's wellness and preventative. A primary care office visit is only going to be covered on the MEC Plus and the MEC Enhance. So this type of visit is if you're sick or had an injury and you need to go to a doctor and see a physical doctor, you'll have a copay of $25. Under the Plus plan, you'll see there's limitations, 3 visits, 2 visits, etc. Where the MEC Enhance, which is probably about 95% of our business, is the big one. It's unlimited. A lot of brokers are taking these plans and positioning them into the group market to break up traditional group plans, or they're partnered with a supplemental carrier. So a lot of ones are selling like a Colonial, an Aflac, Washington National, like a supplemental. And they're using what's called a defined benefit program, where they're able to go to an employer and tell the employer, hey, we can create a package for $150 per employee, or $250, or whatever that dollar budget amount is between you and the employer agree on. And the broker will then sit with each insured and enroll them in the plan. And for example, let's say they enroll them into the MEC Enhance, and it's, as an example, $150. And they have a $250 allowance. They're going to use the other $100 to help them with supplemental out-of-pocket, such as hospital indemnity, accident, cancer, all the supplemental products that you brokers have access through the BenaVest. With that being said, these are not major medical. Major medical are going to cover hospital and surgical. That's why these make a great pairing for hospital indemnity or fixed benefit plans. We'll continue going down the list of the outpatients here. I just wanted to make sure we understood these are not major medical. These are like a bolt-on. A specialist visit is a $75 copay under MEC Plus and MEC Enhance. Again, you could use the telemedicine, and the telemedicine will be a $0 copay. But if they want to go to a brick and mortar, they can go to a primary or specialist with a copay. These plans are using the PPO network PHCS, which we'll go over here in just a moment. These plans also cover laboratory services, radiology. The enhanced plan covers CT, MRI, and PET scans. So instead of having a bill for a $2,000 MRI, it'll be a $600 copay. Urgent care, $95. Again, these are unlimited under the MEC Enhance. So that's probably why it's a big seller. And then preventative prescriptions, generic drugs. These are all your ones that are covered under the ACA. Typically, your blood pressures, your generic diabetes medications, anything that's preventative maintenance is typically covered as a wellness and preventative. at a $0 copay for medication. Okay. Other benefits here listed to the side: annual physicals, children's immunizations, flu shots, blood work, screenings, and more. These plans are guaranteed issue. They can cover the children up until the age of 26. And they all, again, use the PPO network, which we'll show you here. Okay, PHCS, if some of us may be familiar with what's called multi-plan. Multi-plan owns PHCS. And we'll look at that website here in a moment, how to navigate, because multi-plan has many different subsidiary branches of their network. So they use the multi-plan PHCS, and then there's going to be an option when we look at the website that we'll choose for specific services. Specific services basically is the PPO network, and it carves out hospitalization. Okay. All of our plans come with Enroll Prime's proprietary app called Prime Wallet. In our Prime Wallet, this is where you're going to have your benefit ID cards, your telemedicine. So your consumer will be able to access their telemedicine is right through our app. When they enroll in our products, it's a first of the month effective date, and they will get instantly, once they're active in our plan, they'll get an email with their temporary ID cards, and then they'll get a text message to download the benefit wallet from the App Store, whether it's Android or iPhone or even Windows. In the benefit wallet, their ID cards will be here. So as you can see, here's an example of a medical plan showing the front of an ID card with the medical information, the pharmacy information, and then just like a traditional insurance card, there's information on the back of the card, and they will just tap with their finger this little green button that says see back of card, so they can provide the doctor's office with the billing information so they can have their claim filed. So all this is within the app. They have their telemedicine, they have their wallet, and then we also have our chat feature. Our chat, this is a big deal for you brokers that, sometimes get bogged down with customer service of servicing your clients. Your members are able to email or message in the chat app directly with our team here at Enroll Prime. Sometimes they have a question, they want a copy of their policy, who's in network. A lot of times it's, can you review this bill? They'll have a bill that they just simply don't understand what an EOB, explanation of benefits, is. So we'll have them send us a copy of the EOB, and then we will explain and walk them through what happened. Sometimes they know they have insurance, but never told the doctor they have new insurance. And a lot of times we'll have to call the doctor's office and with the client and, provide the updated information. And we just hold their hand so you don't have to. Okay. The telemedicine is our MEMD, which is right within the app, integrated into the app. So on the app, when they click the telemedicine piece, they can have a virtual visit. $0 copay for talking to a doctor. It also includes a few visits for mental health in the app as well. So we're going to save a lot of money about not having to go to an urgent care and being able to save time from your own home or where they're at to call for their child themselves and get the medication they need without even having to leave the house. Under the telemedicine product, it's just a very robust telemedicine. So it covers things, anything from bronchitis, flu bug, fever, diarrhea, to eating disorders, anxiety, divorce issues, on the behavioral health. If they need to speak to somebody, they're able to use this telemedicine and speak to somebody about what is going on and have a $0 copay. And then last but not least, in all of our cards, it would look rather lonely if they only had their medical ID with Enroll Prime. So we have provided their well card. So the well card will be listed in there, and they're going to have their Aetna dental discount card, Outlook Vision, and First Access Medical. And what this discount card, there's more discounts than just the 3 listed there. It's going to give them discounts for prescriptions. They're able to use the Aetna Dental Discount Network and get Aetna's rates. Vision and hearing are also going to be able to use the Outlook for the vision and hearing, get vision and hearing discounts on the plan as well. So they're going to have a multitude of cards in their benefit wallet up here. And so, going back here, you'll see this plan here is an example of MEC. This is their telemedicine, and then right here you see Well Card. And then below it, as they swipe, any other benefits that they're enrolled with our Enroll Prime will show up in the app as well. Now, this plan could be sold standalone. This is a huge market. A lot of brokers actually use this as they're entering into a small group or any group to bring a value add. Like, hey, we can offer your employees a low-cost telemedicine product that gives them discounts. And while we're there, we can see what needs they have, enroll them into a marketplace plan, give them supplemental health, life, etc., and tailor the needs to each individual as they see. Everybody enrolled or contracted with BenaVest is going to get access to a back portal and a website. So every group that you enroll, you'll have, let me see here, slow down. Boom. Every group you have will have, this will have your logo here on the small group, and every group is going to have their own portal to enroll products in. So just like on the slides I was showing you, the MEC Plus, the MEC, and the MEC Enhanced, and the Prime Wallet, you can go ahead and you can enroll now, but just to show you the information, the HR can do this without you. You don't have to take an eligibility file. You can. I mean, we prefer when you're setting up a group to give us a Excel file with the initial enrollment, but you can then, once you did your initial enrollment and still want to generate sales, give them a link that's specific to that employer group, and then they would enroll themselves whenever they have a new employee. They go online, they can actually view the plan benefits, look at the schedule of benefits, pull up the same plan comparison that we were just looking at. They'll get information on the Prime Wallet. And then also information on how to find a provider, which is where we're going to get to. Okay. So we will go to multiplan.com. And the instructions were, we click find a provider. Our network is going to be the PHCS. You will see little disclaimers here on Multiplan. The green pop-up is basically saying that you're supposed to check this every month because network providers do join and leave networks every month. So Multiplan, PHCS. And then just like the thing said, remember we've mentioned specific services. This is how you know you're getting the correct network to look up a doctor. You'll type in your zip code, and then you'll choose the type of service you're looking for. Family practice, OBGYN, endocrinologist, etc. Okay. From here, you can then filter, if they're accepting new patients, do they want male or female, what language do they want them to speak? Maybe they want them part of a certain hospital affiliation, etc. You would just go through the filters, hit apply, and it'll narrow them down for you. And your client can, print this for themselves. They can email it to them, or you can do it for them and email it to them. Again, our app, we do this for them. So, I mean, obviously, they're going to have questions while you're making the point of sale, right? You'll be able to access this and give them answers right then and there. But long after you're done the sale and you're making new sales, they're going to be able to go right into their phone, click the chat bot, and on the chat bot, they're going to mention, hey, I have questions about finding a provider. And so it'll direct them to somebody on our team here at Enroll Prime, and we will do this for them. Okay. Enrollment is very simple. You'll just choose a product. I'm going to do the MEC Enhanced, and we're going to do a family plan here in a minute. Okay, so you can see here are the rates, $158 for employee. We're going to hit update. Continue. The system is always going to put it out for the next month. So sometimes you're going to come across, actually many times you're going to come across a lot of employers that do things last minute. And they're going to reach out to you and say, hey, I have this employee that's supposed to be active this month or even 2 months ago. Not a problem. You can enroll them right here on the site. It's going to give them the default effective date. All you do when you're done with the application, after you hit submit, it's going to give you their application ID. And you'll just simply copy that ID and email our support team saying, hey, can you retroactive this employee for us? And typically, if it's within 60 days, we are able to do so. Okay. Same thing for terminations as well. We have a 60-day look back. We check for claims. As long as the plan was not utilized when they requested the termination retroactively, we're able to honor that termination. You'll put the employee's information here. Now, the only difference between the medical or MEC plans, the MEC Enhance, the MEC Plus, and the MEC Basic, is these are all going to ask for a social security number. The Telemed or Prime Wallet does not require a social security number. This is a big play because you can market this in the group and in the individual market for that telemedicine. A lot of brokers that we have in South Florida, Texas, that have a lot of clientele that may not have socials yet are able to get access to telemedicine and network discounts. So that's a big play there. So you'll populate your information in here for them. I do like to go over the dependent section because this is the one where some people do get confused. And here you can see if they have you're doing a family plan, there's only room to enter the data for one family member. And what you're going to do is once you put it all in, oops, so you're going to hit save dependent. And now you can do the next one. So I just did the spouse, and then you can go ahead and do the child. And every time you hit save, they're going to save over here on the application. Okay. When you're doing this, just who is filling out the application? Is it the employee, the employer, or if it's the agent? We want to know who took the application. This is the terms and conditions. You'll simply basically it's a fraud notice letting the member know that whoever's enrolling is not intending to commit fraud. Basically, hey, we're going to sign this person up after they've already had a claim and try to retroactivate and cause fraud on insurance. Insurance, you have to have insurance prior to the house going on fire. So you'll check that box that you acknowledge it, not a robot, and hit submit. And once you hit submit, they're in the system and instantly they get that text message to download the app. They get a member ID emailed to them, and then a hard copy will also follow in the mail, typically 7 to 10 business days from the TPA to their home address that you put on file. Okay. And then let's go over our back office portal. Actually, before we do back office, let me just review that we went over basically small groups. Small groups is the MEC, MEC Plus, MEC Enhance. A lot of large groups also use this if they're trying to combat that Part A, Part B penalty. We can even get into what's called minimum coverage. There's plans that cover the minimum essential coverage, and then also the min. There's WellMec and WellMin that cover Part A and Part B. These only cover Part A penalty. So if you need the Part B penalty covered as well, we have an offering that would also satisfy that. I'm going to slide this over here. We went over this in the individual market, but essentially these are some of the same plans. We quote large employer groups, any group over 10 employees. 50 to 100, everybody gets different rates depending on their the size of the group. Last week we went over the premium plan, which is a little different than the MEC Enhance. They're actually the same plan. The only difference is our premium plan on the larger groups get access to what's called a dual network. So they get, not only do they get the PHCS, they're going to get First Health, which is owned by Aetna. So they're getting 2 networks of doctors, which is nice. And then we have the bronze and silver, which is going to cover more of your major medical expenses. Now, they're not major medical plans because they have limitations, but I'll pull up a quick comparison for you. Oops, wrong one. Now, these can be quoted in the large group area, or you can get them in the individual association through ACA-USA. But our bronze and silver is going to have those very attractive low copays of a $25 doctor, $50 specialist, lab services. All of these plans also come with that Prime wallet, with that chat feature, the telemedicine, the benefits wallet in there. The bronze and silver are very appealing with their copays. Inpatient hospital surgery, a $350 copay. Again, for bronze or silver. The difference between the bronze and silver 5 days in the hospital for bronze, 7 for silver, and 2 surgeries versus 3. So again, if these were major medical, like what you find on the marketplace, they're not going to have a limit of how many days you can be there. But for many people, or most people that are looking for a plan that they have upfront benefits where they have co-pays, and hey, if something happens, they're not going to lose their home over it. This type of plan is a great solution to those that can't afford full-blown major medical or don't see a value in a $7,000-8,000 deductible and want to have service. The big difference between bronze and silver is the silver covers pregnancy benefits. A $350 copay for professional childbirth and delivery on this plan. Okay, so that means that when they go to their OBGYN, their specialist visit has a $25 copay. A lot of questions we do get sometimes is what happens if they ever go over, I don't know of anybody that goes this often, but if they go over 10 visits in a year or 8 visits in a year, the plan will give a network discount. So these offerings here are more for your larger groups, groups 10 plus. We can do a quote for and get them to you and your employer. They're a lot more affordable than what's available in the individual market. Keep in mind, individual market, everybody's signing up. Where in the group side, people are getting the insurance that really may never even use it. So it's always a better deal when you get group insurance. Okay, I missed a couple questions here. Sabrina Franklin, how many mental health visits are provided through the app? They're going to give you 3 at $0 copay. And then after that, it's going to be the rate, I believe it's $60. Did you say the basic plan can be marketed to individuals? Yes. So, well, it's not under the basic plan name. Actually, this particular slide that I have pulled up here that says Elite MEC, this is basically the MEC Basic, but through the association, through ACA. We went over this in last week's webinar on the individual products. It's essentially the same plan. It's just a different TPA and a different way to access it. The TPA for the other one was Tall Tree. This one in here is through Crystal Bay. And so, but they are going to give you the network through PHCS. And then again, the individual side is always going to be more expensive than the group. So if you have, a husband and a wife, maybe husband and wife get 2 separate policies to do your group if needed. I've seen a lot of that, but depending on the price points, you'll have to look at and see what's the best option for an individual. Any other questions so far? I'm going to open it up for questions now. I believe the way it's set up is I can't hear you. You all have to send your questions in the chat through the Zoom. Okay, if there's no more questions, then if you are interested in getting these products written, you can go ahead and contact BenaVest on their BenaVest InsureUniversity. I'll just bring it up so you can show you how to get contracted. Okay, so you go to the Insureuniversity that we should all be familiar with here at BenaVest. Go over to your contracting. Click on Alternative Health. And then, of course, you'll click on Enroll Prime's logo here. And you'll click Get Contracted. And this will take you to where you can request the contracting from BenaVest and get you all marketed so you can get contracted and start writing. Typically, once you get contracted with BenaVest, we'll have you ready with the back office portal within 24 hours. Oh, I see a question here about enrolling a group or getting a quote. Our rates will be available when you request the contracting. It is a set rate for the small group. So for the small group, which is the MEC Enhanced, MEC Basic, let me pull those back up for you. For the MEC, MEC Plus, MEC Enhanced, these rates are always the rates. You don't have to get a quote each time. They are going to be a set rate. And so you'll be able to get this through your contracting. It'll have the rates already listed in there. Just to give you an example, we'll click here on MEC Enhanced. And we have pricing. And here's the pricing. So this is what it'll be for every group, no matter what size it is, if you're just doing the small group program. We call it the small group program, but any size group can enroll in the small group. However, we do recommend quoting for a large group if they are large and they're trying to protect against the MEC penalties, because then they can get the actual MEC component into it where 1095s are filed on their behalf. And they're going to get a better rate when they are larger, especially if they're larger than 10. So these pricing are basically for groups that are 10 and under, but you could just go to market with these shelf rates. The commission is, don't have commissions. That'll be through BenaVest. BenaVest will be able to provide that. When they send you the contract, it's going to be right there in the contract. These are a per member per month on the commissions. I believe they start at $10 on an individual for the plan. Give you guys a few more seconds here, see if any more questions trickle in. Speaking of commissions, that the small group one has a contracted commission with the rates. The larger group rates, they are custom and you can layer the commission dollars that you want on top. So what we do is we provide you the rate, and then you say, hey, I want to make $20 a head or $25 a head or whatever it is, and then we put that into the final proposal.